Hello and welcome back to Up the Villa podcast. If you are new to our channel, subscribe, drop this video a like and get involved in the comment section down below on our performance. And it was a performance against Crystal Palace. But before we get into it, I was going to save this for it to come out tomorrow, but I'm going to mention it now. While I'm guessing we're going to have quite a few watching it. Up the Villa podcast are entering in the Football Content Awards. We are going to be entering the Best New Content Creator category. And we need your help to get us over the line, get some votes, and then we'll go on to the next stage. So, it means the world to me if you can support the channel by voting for us, and it'd be highly appreciated. So I'm going to share the screen with you now and just quickly show you how to do it. So you need to go on footballcontentawards.com, click this little section here, first bit of their website. Scroll down to the start, really, going on to the voting page. And it is the first category here, Best New Content Creator. So you type in Up the Villa Podcast, UTV Podcast, really. Scroll down to the very bottom and click I agree and then vote now. And that is all you have to do. There'll be a video out tomorrow explaining it in a little bit more detail, but I just thought I'd want to show you guys and who are watching how to vote. And if you can, support the channel. Hopefully we can win it and get through. So thank you, everybody that does vote. Like I say, it means the world to me and everybody on this channel. If you can, vote for us. So what is going on? What is going on? Deja vu, Justin, you with me after the Bournemouth one. Crystal Palace 3, Aston Villa 1. Bitterly disappointed, annoyed, angry with the performance. I just don't understand. I just don't understand what is going on. My biggest thing is, I thought we did all right against Everton. I thought we played well with the ball. I thought we kept the ball well. I thought we had a decent shape. We created a few chances. Going into today's game, I wanted us to be tight, compact, organised, because it wasn't an away performance. They are a difficult team to play against. We went through the whole lineup. We went through the whole what to expect, how they were going to play in the preview. And, first things first, I want to say how good Palace were. I thought Palace were very, very good. And one thing that I noticed in what we were saying last season was so important that Patrick Vieira had a full pre-season with them. He instilled his ideas. He had a great season with them last year. They're a great side to watch. They're energetic, lively, strong, powerful, brilliant on the counter, right? And I was sort of thinking, okay, pre-season, we'll have Gerrard pre-season. He can instill all his ideas, everything that he wants to do, a clean slate. We can see the style of play. We can have a look at the whole squad. Maybe some that didn't feature last year could feature, and a new lease of life for some of them. But unfortunately, it is absolutely the same as last season. Gerrard wanted no inconsistencies. He wanted no sort of errors week in, week out. And it is exactly the same as last season. Nothing's changed. Nothing has changed. And I don't want to come on here and I'm fuming and I'm ranting and I'm raving, but I just don't understand what's gone on in pre-season, because I can't see for the life of me what we're trying to do. And then when we do something good, we start the game off, we start well, we get the early goal, right? Mirrored exactly what we saw against Everton. They went down the pitch and scored. I just can't understand the midfield. It's just, there isn't one, right? There isn't one. It doesn't matter who we put in there. There isn't one. Konsa today, absolutely run ragged again. I remember in the first half, that passing, he literally passed it to one of their players, and we had a 2v2, which they probably should have scored. They should have punished us. I just can't for the life of me see what we're doing, Justin. I really can't, and it's unlike me to be so negative, but I just don't get it. I mean, I said to you guys on the chat, before the game, I don't understand why he's changed the team attacking wise for a team that if we're saying that we're inconsistent, we did what I said we were going to do. We play players out of form. Danny Ings got his goal last week. We've played him out of form now. We dropped him. We played Leon Bailey. I don't understand this Leon Bailey and Buendia thing or Coutinho. It just doesn't work for me. That whatever we do in that two behind, I don't get it. Justin, am I being like unreasonable? Am I saying stuff
No,
that is delusional?
not at all. No, I think it's all fair. We all went through pre-season. We was happy with pre-season. It looked like things were shaping up nicely. Kamara, Carlos came in. The Coutinho deal was done. A couple of squad players came in. We all felt if he could have a pre-season that and get his real philosophy. I mean, he's had what's he been here now? 9 months. If you can't get the way of playing over to you, I mean, let's be right. This squad hasn't really changed a lot in the whole time he's been there. If you can't get your philosophy over in 9 months and you don't see a real shift or a change in that amount of time, then you do have to sort of think, what's it going to take to change it around dramatically? Today, barring the first 5 minutes, was as bad as Bournemouth.
Yeah.
We had spells when we looked like we was in the game, but only because we would have a bit of an attack, but then it would break down. So it looked a bit like it was end to end. But if I'm honest, I've got to be honest. I had a bad feeling about this game all last week. I very, very, very rarely predict Villa to lose, mainly because I like to be positive on the build-up, and I don't like to think we're going to lose the game. But my whole body was screaming all week, we're going to lose this game. I don't know why. It just screamed out, we're going to lose it. For every reason you've said, Palace are a phenomenally well-drilled, a very well organised, very well transfer-wise, that they bring in really good players. They seem to know exactly what they are about. There's a way of playing. There's a formation. There's tactics. They all know what they're doing. They look slick. They were there for each other. The movement was very good. The players all play to a formation and a style that they all know exactly what they're doing. The back four looks solid. The midfielders hold it together, and the forward players are a threat. And everything that we're currently not, unfortunately. Bournemouth was an absolute shambles. Everton was better, but I wouldn't say it was anywhere near our best. And today, as I say, barring going in the lead after 5 minutes, everything else after that was pretty much terrible. The second half was really bad. We're sort of relying on moments of magic in games that sort of wove together to make us look good in periods.
Yeah, but
Where,
Justin, the thing is, it's okay having a moment of magic. I mean, the Bailey knockdown was brilliant. The goal
yeah,
was good. Watkins, fair play. Clean
yeah,
through,
great
scored,
finish.
brilliant. He's had so many critics in that position, and he did so well. But what I
Mm.
can't understand is why we can just go. They can go down the other end of the pitch, carve us open so easy. That's what I'm struggling with. Gerrard has spoke openly about the inconsistencies of this side, but we are still so inconsistent. I've been saying to everybody's hair that I've been cutting this week, I'd take a draw, because if we can draw the game, it shows that sort of we're building a little bit as well, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're building on the road. We're difficult to beat away from home. But this win one, lose one, win one, lose one, it's just not. We're just never going to get to where we want to get to with playing like that. And I don't understand how it's going to get any better, because the guy has had a vast amount of time. He's had a full pre-season.
Well,
I can't
yeah.
understand.
I agree. Ultimately, the manager has two big jobs, doesn't he? He has to set a team up in a style of play that he wants to play, and he has to set out tactics for individual games to nullify the opposition. And if I'm honest, he's failed in both of them today. The tactics and the team selection for me were wrong. And the style of play isn't there. I still probably can't tell you what kind of style of play we are trying to achieve. And the tactics to try and nullify Palace. I mean, we are a fan run channel. I've got no coaching badges. You've got no coaching badges. We've just watched football all our life. That's all we've got. Yet in the preview, we said the long ball out of the back from Palace over the top of our fullbacks. We've got to watch out for that because that'll kill us. And what was happening time after time again? The long ball over the top of our fullbacks because our fullbacks bomb on. Now, surely Steven Gerrard has seen Crystal Palace play and he knows what he has to do to nullify their threat. So why didn't they do it? That's A1 on the coaching manual today, playing against Crystal Palace. Their threats were ease and Zaha. We said it in the preview. We've got to keep them quiet. We've got to nullify the threat. We've got to make sure the fullbacks don't bomb on too high. We've got to make sure the midfield keeps hold of that midfield. Ramsey and McGinn today, for me, were very poor. Very poor. Kamara tried his best, but he was sort of up against it the whole time. I think Bailey was okay, in as much as he got an assist and he hit the bar. I mean, we've all been hankering for Bailey, for Buendia to start. He huffed and puffed. He didn't have the impact that he had coming off the bench last week. I'm not blaming him. That's not his fault. They were all off it today. Weirdly, Coutinho had one or two moments when he came on where, miles too late by then. The game had sailed off into the sunset by that point, so it was almost pointless, but he looked quite sharp when he come on. He changed the formation again today and went with two 10s and a 9, where I said we should have stuck with the 2 9s.
Yeah, this goes back to my point earlier, though, Justin. Is like, and I know you've said, for quite a while now that the squad's going to have to be utilised quite a lot. The 5 subs, everything like that. I think that's okay if you're playing well. Look at Man City; they can afford to take out Grealish, bring in Foden, take out Silva, bring in Gundogan, take out Haaland, not play with a striker. They can afford to do that because they're so good. We cannot bring Bailey in, take Ings out, and start doing stuff. I just don't think we can do it.
I think my biggest concern now is we just do not control any of the games. There is no control in the middle of the park. The midfield lacks the ability to get hold of the game and say, okay, we're either going to soak pressure up because we're under pressure, but we're okay. We're a solid 4 and a 5, if that's the way you're going to play it, or 3 and a 4, whatever it is. Or we're on the attack and we're going to just dictate the play from midfield. Our midfield is almost not. Well, today it was non-existent. They were just chasing shadows the whole game.
Yeah, so
and the fullback's a big problem.
Let's have a look at some of the stats then from the game, and we'll try and have a look at what possibly did go wrong then. So let's.
Is this a 4-hour episode?
Don't know. Right, let's just share the screen. Right, so what we got here then? So we've got a little bit of a momentum bar going on in this little graphic today. So this is off our little favourite sofa score. So here we go. So we've got a momentum bar of the game. Aston Villa are at the bottom. Crystal Palace are at the top. Their momentum is pretty much continual throughout the whole game. And then at the end, that's when sort of Villa are sort of
throwing the kitchen sink at him, wasn't we?
I mean?
That was when Coutinho come on, to be fair, and he did do a few bits. But like I say, it was miles too late by then. The game had gone.
51% possession for Crystal Palace, 17 shots, 9 on target. They had 4 corners and we had 2. Big chances, they had 6. We had 1. Big chances missed. They missed 4 and we missed none. Passes, pretty even on the passes. Accurate passes, we had 81%. They had 84%. Possession lost, we lost it the most, 124 times. And then here we go then. So look at this graphic here, right? The majority of the ball today was in our weakest area, the middle of the park. 41% of the ball today was in the middle of the pitch. Like we said in the preview, all of majority of Palace's attacks came down their left-hand side with Zaha and Mitchell, and ours were pretty equal, really. Luke, Cash and Digne. Palace's average position, pretty compact, pretty tidy in the middle of the park, pretty like compact, like I just said, all together. And then Villa's in the middle of the park. This area here, nothing. Absolutely nothing. In the middle of this park, where is our midfield? And I know we're going off average positional graphics again, but Jacob Ramsey, 41, John McGinn, number 7, Boubacar Kamara, number 44. There is nothing in the middle of this pitch. And what I want to highlight here is if you watch Aston Villa play today and you see that the average pattern of the game when it gets scrappy, right? When the games get scrappy and we are second and third to every ball and we are chasing shadows, for me, that is why. Because the midfield, there isn't one. And I know I'm moaning a bit, but Justin, there's a fundamental problem with the way we're setting up, right? And we're going on to this now, how we've apparently now going to have had a bid virtually accepted for £25 million for Ismaila SARR of Watford. I think we're now going to be going down the line of 2 wingers, right? We've got to sack off this Digne and Matty Cash playing as wingers. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I said it in the previous match. I didn't want to see the 2 number 8s covering the fullbacks. That's not their job. Their job isn't to cover the fullbacks. Their job is to dominate the middle of the park and to dominate the game. By giving, God, there's so many things in there. I literally, I've wrote a list of, I've got about 100 things here that I'm so annoyed about, pissed off about. I'm sorry, even Gerrard's tactics, I'm going to say they're wrong. The way he's setting us up, it worked in Rangers. It's not working in the Premier League. That's my personal opinion, and I'm not one for throwing anybody under the bus. I give people probably, if anything, too much time to get things right because I just want to see people succeed. I don't want to go down Villa Park and chant for the manager to get sacked. I don't want to have a go at a player because he's not turning it on. That's not me at all. But he's getting it wrong. These tactics aren't working. Now, whether that Ismaila SARR signing is a sign that he's trying to think of a different approach to playing, I hope it is. I genuinely hope it is because he cannot now. He has to adapt his philosophy of football, otherwise, and very quickly. Otherwise, he's going to be in massive trouble. We've got 3 horrendous games coming up now. If we don't get anything from West Ham, we've then got Arsenal and Man City. Now, should the worst case scenario happen in them 3 games, we'll have won 1 in 6 and we'll be in the bottom 3.
Yeah, but we'll have won 2 in 18, 19. I've said it.
I'm not pressing the panic button, Luke. I am not. Honestly, I know you're not. I know you're not. But these things have to be addressed. They have to be addressed.
You've just got to say it as you see it. Do you know what I mean? And that's what we've always tried to do on this podcast. And if I'm being honest, I'm fed up of watching this because it's the same things happening all the time, and it's just not good enough. There is a good squad there. And I just think hopefully he's going to adapt and change the system because I know I keep saying it. I don't feel like we're playing as a team. We're playing in stages. We've got the back 4. We've got fullbacks that bomb forward. We've got a midfield that are always chasing shadows. That free midfield, barring Kamara, because he does win the ball quite a bit. The second to every ball. Then we've sort of got either a 2 behind a striker or a 1 behind a 2. It don't flow, does it?
But we're not talking about intricate, like Pep Guardiola tactics now. We're talking the basics, the basic of the basics. Defenders defend well, midfielders get hold of the game, and forwards create you and score your goals. And at the moment, we're not doing any of those 3 disciplines well enough. And he's trying so hard to get to turn the fullbacks into wingers and the 8s into covering defenders and 2 9s and 1 10. How many times on this podcast since he's come in have we debated, are we going with 2 9s or 2 10s? every week. It's what do we go with 2 9s, 2 10s, and I know I've been an advocate for different players and different formations depending on who you're playing. But maybe we do need to really, really go back to basics. We need to find our best formation, find our best starting 11, and stick to it. And I know that's going.
It's so annoying though,
There's
because
so many things,
we've just had a full pre-season of however many weeks to be able to do
and
this.
that's the worry, isn't it?
That's the problem.
We all
You know,
said get a pre-season behind them. Hope we got all summer now. We said it at the start when we came back. Brilliant. He's had a full pre-season. He can get all of his philosophies over to the team. They know exactly. There's no excuses now. There is no. I was listening to Gary Thompson on WM earlier, and he's bang on what he says. The minute that game kicked off against Bournemouth, that first whistle went against Bournemouth, the excuses are stopped then, because he's had plenty of time last season to bed himself in. He's had plenty of time to assess the squad. He's had more or less, he's openly admitted he's had more or less what he wants in the transfer window. He's happy with the window. So there's nothing else then. There's no more excuses to why this isn't working. The only excuse to why it's not working is the manager is getting it wrong. I'll stand by this. There is more than enough quality in that squad to be a mid-table Premier League team at worst. We are not a bottom 5 Premier League squad. That is not a bottom 5 Premier League squad. So the only person you can point the question marks at is the manager. He's getting it wrong. Now, has he got the experience, the know-how, and the balls to throw things out that aren't working and try and turn it around and in a positive way? I don't know, because he hasn't been in the game that long, has he? This is his first blip. He went into a Rangers team that was back in the Premier League, but they hadn't won the league for a long time. But let's not be brutally honest, it's a 2-horse race in Scotland. It always has been. So yes, he won the title with him, but you toss a coin in Scotland and one of you wins the title. He'd come down to England in a much harder league. He's got a big job on at the Villa. We knew that. And this is his first massive test as a manager. Now, whether he comes through it or not will be down to how he decides to go from now onwards. You can't do anything about what's gone on. Now, he either sits down with his coaches and he has a real rethink. Is this really the best way for us to set up with what we've got? If he decides it is, and it continuously going wrong, then he will fall on his sword eventually, because he'll just get the sack. Because if we keep losing and playing like we are, that's the inevitable down the line. Or has he got the ability now to sit back, assess it, and say, I think I'm wrong here, I'm going to change it? That's what's facing him now.
Yeah. I think, personally, I think Bale's got something to do with this, I do. And I know you're going to get fans that are going to say, yeah, but we were crap and we were losing games with Bale's football. But I don't know. I just find it weird. I find that weird, I do, that Bale left and, he'd done everything with Gerrard in coaching, management-wise, everything at Rangers, come to Villa. He's left. We've brought in Critchley. And we know that Emi Martinez said that it felt like there was 2 managers at Aston Villa. Martinez was praising Bale to the maximum, talking to Ben Foster. And I just think that, I don't know, I just find it strange that
I've seen that one. Yeah, I've seen that once before when Brian Little came in from Leicester. And he wanted Gregory and Alan Evans to come with him. And it was only when them two arrived with him that we turned it around. And then Gregory left him, and then we started going downhill. So yeah, assistants can be massively important to them. One other thing I have to question now, and it's not really hindsight because I said it at the time, I have to question his decision to give John McGinn the captaincy. Because you cannot give a captain to somebody who isn't. You have to give the captaincy to someone, in my opinion, who's almost undroppable. And he basically gave him the captaincy, and he said straight away, "It doesn't mean I can't drop him." And I think that's for me. I would have given it to Emi Martinez, who's the only undroppable player in that 11, and he's got the the aura about him that people look up to. And I think that would have been the sensible choice for me, because McGinn, today especially, looked like it was weighing down on him, because you look to your captain to turn the game around. You look to your captain to lead from the front, to be the one that you kind of follow over the wall in the trenches. And as he got that about him, I don't know. The problem, what's happening now, is that these performances are creating far too many questions that are unanswered. And I don't know where he goes from here. We've got a tricky little away game on Bolton on Tuesday, which I'm presuming he'll change it around.
Oh, God.
And then we go into 3, looking now at the moment, really, really, really tough Premier League games, which will possibly say a lot after them.
Yeah, and
I don't want to say that he's...
you know me, Justin, and I know you, and everyone that's watching. I hate being negative, and I
Yeah.
hate moaning, and I hate being like I hate coming on here and being like it. But sometimes it's just got to get said, because I can't come in and can't try and be positive and sugarcoat things and mug myself off just to try and be nice and everything. I'm just not happy with what's going on at the minute, to be fair. So,
You can't lie, can you? You can't. Yeah, as fans, you can only go on what you can see in front of your eyes, and we are not seeing an improvement. We're not even seeing currently a marginal improvement on where we was with Dean Smith, which is not what we were sold. We were sold the new generation, the new way forward. We're going to improve massively. We're going to improve. Everything's going to get better. And at the moment, I would say, if anything, it's the same, if not marginally worse than it was when we had Dean Smith. But at least the one thing I can say, and it's not with hindsight, is Dean Smith had a way of playing that you knew what it was all about. I don't want to compare the two, because Dean Smith's gone now. That era's finished now. We've got to look forward. But he did have a way of playing that was very noticeable. You knew what we were trying to do week in, week out. There was a way of playing. I'm yet to see that with Steven Gerrard. We sort of know he wants his fullbacks bombing on, but how do you know how he wants the midfield to play? Do they control the game?
no.
No.
For me, they're too far apart.
Yeah,
They're
they
they're
block
they're
every graphic you show.
they're
Yeah.
far too apart for me. You could literally run a double-decker bus through that. The gap's that big, right?
So
And I
so
just think if you're clever and you're a midfielder and you're winning a midfield battle, or you can go in little pockets, you can just drive straight through that. You can
so
just
we've
run
signed.
straight through
Yeah,
it.
we've signed now what we all know and we all can see is a very, very, very good number 6. But I feel sorry for Kamara, because he's basically standing there and it's like the parting of the Red Sea in front of him.
Yeah.
He's
But this
got...
is what I'm saying, Justin, about Beale. This is the same formation as what we was playing last year. This is the same formation as what we played when they came. So what I'm saying is, if this is the same formation as what we had with Beale and Gerrard, the evolution of this formation hasn't happened. It hasn't
No.
got any better. To me, it looks like we've got this formation, and he's like, I can't change. I can't do anything else. I've got to
Do you know?
keep the fullbacks in the midfield the same, because I don't know what else to do.
Do you know what it looked like today? It genuinely looked like when we went 2-1 down, they didn't down tools. That would be unfair to say they gave up, because they didn't. What it looked like to me was a team that didn't know how to get back in the game.
Yeah, there's no
I'm not,
answers.
yeah, they didn't. I'm not saying they didn't know what they were doing, but you were almost getting to that point now where they didn't have a clue of what do we do now. What
Yeah.
are the tactics now? How do we get ourselves back in this game? There was aimless passes down the wing, aimless running, and is there? Oh, yeah. Instead of knowing where players are, Palace. You watch Palace today. It was short, snappy. When they went left, there was triangles everywhere. When they went right, there was triangles everywhere. There was always an out ball for somebody. Sahar was busy in and out. You look busy. They changed players at the end of the game. The lad that came off the bench,
I mean, that
instant
striker, he was on
impact.
the pitch 2 minutes and he scored.
But what a phenomenal! I can't. That was a phenomenal ball in for that third goal. I mean, he's literally, it's on a plate for him, isn't it? But I will say the only one thing I will say in Gerrard's defence today, it was 1-1, and I know they're always going to be given, but them penalty decisions for me are absolutely pathetic. They are absolutely pathetic. When you've got a ball being stood up to the back post and you've got a defender that the only thing he can do is try and jump as high as he can to head it, and the lad happens to get to him first, and he's got Lucas Dean has no idea whatsoever where that ball's going, and it just happens just to brush his hand. And even if it hadn't touched his hand, it's a comfortable catch for Art Martinez, and that is now deemed as a handball in the box, and it's ridiculous. That's now classed as the same as a player going around the keeper, and there's a defender on the line, and he has a shot, and he dives and handballs it to stop the goal. That's the same now as that, and that can't be right. They're the same thing, handball in the box. It's unfair, and I felt for him then, because at that point we were just praying we could hang on for the 1-1.
Yeah,
but it hasn't. It's not meant to be, and it's bitterly disappointing.
Very
Two
frustrating.
losses.
So let's try and turn our attention to our new impending signing, if it goes through, SARR. Now, the only thing I can look at this from a distance is think, right, is it what we need? No. Right? Is it what we 100% need? No, for what we got at the minute. But does it say that it looks like we're going to change formation? And if it's a yes, which it probably looks like it's going to be, so you're looking at maybe 2 wingers, then he improves us massively, because he's a great player and he's going to be a really good signing if we can get it over the line. But again, it's still not going to solve central midfield, is it? Which is the problem.
No.
It's going to make us better on the break. We can counter-attack. We've got plenty of pace with SARR and Bailey. That's good. Watkins up top, loads of pace. The fullbacks can just be defending, maybe attack at times.
Hopefully.
So the system can be better like that. But unless he's going with a 2 holding, so like a double pivot maybe, then
I said it a couple of weeks ago. I think that squad still looks like Dean Smith formation squad, 4-2-3-1. It still looks like that's the best formation with that squad. I think it's looking like Bertrand Traoré is on his bike now to Turkey. He doesn't fancy El Ghazi, obviously, that's fine. Then 2 are going. So he's left with 2 10s with Bailey and Coutinho, with Buendia and Coutinho, and 1. I mean, Bailey's a winger, isn't he, /forward? And I think ISMAILA is basically the same. He's a winger /forward. I mean, he's got 24 and 92 for Watford, which is decent return, 1 in 4 almost. Well, it is 1 in 4, isn't it? So I think what it does is he's bringing a player in he trusts over players that he doesn't, And I would be happy. I'd be over the moon with ISMAILA, and I think he's a very good player. He's ripped us apart on numerous occasions, and we've watched him thinking, God, we could do with a player like him, and that looks like it might happen now. But I'll only be happy with that if we saw. And I think Jan Bednarek is a decent signing as well. Seasoned Premier League plays, almost ever present for the last 4 seasons in the Premier League. And he's played loads of games for Poland. So another, and I hate to say it, but Constance looks off it at the moment. I was gobsmacked Chambers didn't start. But for me, if this transfer window shuts and we don't go out and break the bank for a number 8, I know we're back to when we was moaning about not having a 6, but the 8 for me is the critical point. Somebody that can get hold of this game and just dominate the midfield.
I just feel like we need
a Gareth Barry.
That ball-savvy midfielder.
We need a Gareth Barry.
Right place, right time. Gareth Barry, right?
Yeah.
Right. So let's leave it there then. Another bitterly frustrating podcast, which is annoying, frustrating. But if you can vote for us on the Content Awards, I'd be highly appreciated. We graphed, we worked so hard, we got loads of different concepts. We're not doing a player rating this weekend because there's literally no point. There's no point whatsoever.
I've just looked at them and it don't make nice reading, to be honest.
There's no point. So I'm not going to bother recording one of them. So there'll be a video out tomorrow about the Content Awards as well. So please just vote for us. It'd mean the world to me. Mean the world that all our hard work that we do, is it's working and you appreciate us, and all our content is free in our own time. So if it takes you 2 seconds to just vote, then just vote for me, please. And yeah, let's try and get to a final or something. So sorry it's been negative, but we just got to say what we see. I'm frustrated as a football fan. I don't come on here to try and be an expert. I'm just a Villa fan, and I'm frustrated just like every single one of you guys at home. So yeah, drop your thoughts, drop your comments, drop your thoughts on SAR. Do you want to add anything, Justin?
No, nothing really. Just, there's always another game to look forward to. I'm going to Bolton on Tuesday, so it'd be nice to get a win there, give a little bit of a fillip going into some tough games coming up. But we'll be back. We'll be back. We'll be fine. We'll be okay.
Up
Hopefully.
Villa.